has detected something interesting in your bag. Will you please come with me? So I pulled out the handle of my suitcase and I followed him. We went to one of those doors, do not enter, authorized personnel only, alarm will sound, and he keyed us in. And if you've ever wondered about those spaces, they are nowhere near as nice as the airport. There is no carpeting, linoleum, a whole long row of steel doors with little grates in them. And I was ushered into one of these rooms with this man and Sadie. He said, I have the right to a female attendant. And I said, no, it's all right. And he says, please open your bag and keep your hands in sight at all times. So I put my suitcase up on the bench and I unzipped it. And Sadie came and she sniffed every level and every pocket. And she finally became most interested in my travel kit. Now I must tell you that I have recently started using CBD ointment for joint pain. That's that stuff that is derived from marijuana. Now when I purchased this product, I was in a store with a bunch of construction workers who are big users because they abuse their bodies. And they was, I have to pass a drug test. And the man was saying, no, you could bathe in this stuff. You could drink a gallon of it. It's undetectable. And I don't think it had been tested on beagles. So, cutting to the chase, the stuff comes in a little tin can about the size of a shoe polish can, and it is so expensive I was worried about losing it. So I had scooped out a little and put it in the tiny plastic jar that came with my travel kit. So rather than have her nose all my cosmetics, I took this little jar out, I took out the lid, and I held the thing on my palm. Sadie came a little closer, wagging her tail harder and harder. And she gave me this big smile like dogs give you. She opened her mouth really wide and she ate the jar. And the man was saying, Sadie, drop it. And he's trying to force her mouth open, but she is not having any of that. And she gives a couple of big chokes, and then a great big gulp, and she got it down. I mean, I wouldn't have thought that the beagle had that big a throat. And he's yelling, and he looks like he's about to cry. What's in that? And I said, CBD ointment for my knees. And he picks up Sadie against his chest, and he runs out of the room down the hall saying, Tina, I need you. And he doesn't come back. They didn't have my name. The evidence had disappeared, at least temporarily, and it's perfectly legal anyway. So I stood up and I looked up and down the hall, and there was no one. So I zipped up my travel kit, I put it back in the suitcase, I closed it up, pulled up the handle, and I went back out through that do not enter, authorized personnel alarm will sound, and if you were ever in this situation, the alarm seems to only sound on the way in. And I wheeled my little bag back to my gate, and being as I had just been hauled away by the Drug Enforcement Administration, I didn't make eye contact with anyone. And finally, they called my plane. And I got on, and I sat down, and I took a big, deep breath, and I was so happy that in order to take advantage of some better rates, I flew out through Baltimore, and I was coming home through Virginia. And I never needed to see Sadie again. So I hope that, whatever arthritis she had in her little paws or her hips, I hoped it was helped and that everything would come out in the end. I'm a storyteller and I really like to know the end of the story. So it wasn't until I got here in Woodruff to where this wonderful bed and breakfast we're staying at, and I flicked on the local news. Now you know how that even on the national news they put little funny stories in to make everything seem less grim. Well, they were talking about the drug-sniffing dog in Baltimore who ate the evidence and seemed to have discovered the fountain of youth. And there was a little film of Sadie frisking around like a puppy. So this stuff is not really working for me yet, but I have hope. Thank you.